Hello everyone. With Eric Ten Hag set to join Manchester United as our first team manager, he needs to do quite a bit of things related to United and the progress for United going forward. So one position where United could improve on, even though it's likely probably low down on the list, is the right winger position. With the unfortunate incident with Mason Greenwood and the ongoing investigation, and Marcus Rashford's unknown form and uncertain future, and we just have Jadon Sancho and Anthony Elanga to rely on going forward. We may not look to invest in another winger, preferably a left foot winger, and is Amad Diallo's loan spell at Rangers not going too well as per plan. It's not really looking good. So, in terms today, I'll be analyzing the five right wingers United could buy this summer, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so these five right wingers, I've ranked them based upon the overall package that they'll bring, whether it be injuries, the price tag, and of course the quality of the player, and how he'd fit United and the Premier League. So in at number five, I've gone for Ousmane Dembele. So for those of you who don't know, Dembele plays for Barcelona. He is one of the starters for them, and his contract's expiring in by the end of the year. But the thing about Dembele is, okay. So for those of you who don't know, he joined Barcelona about 3 to 4 years ago now, from Dortmund for a insane fee for I think 120 million or so. And since then, I think it's fair to say, like many of Barcelona's recently, it hasn't gone to plan. And but for him, it's been for certain different reasons. The main issue with Dembele has been not really his consistency, but his injury record. And his injury record is quite honestly horrendous to say the very least. He's injured roughly 200 to 250 days throughout the entire year, and the injuries are quite widespread, so he doesn't really have time to get hit the ground running, and you know his career really hasn't gone down the way he probably envisioned it to when he joined from Dortmund. So with his contract expiring and United in need for right winger, I don't see United buying him as such, but we were interested in him a year back, and in terms of his game right now, he's been fit for 3 months, and his overall games, I like it. I love it. He'd probably much higher up the list had he been fit for all these years. And forget that. Had he been fit for the entire month and the entire year rather, and his injury, his overall gameplay, I think it does suit a Ten Hag system, where he chooses wide wingers who are very good one-on-one, who are creative and who are good at decent at finishing. And I think Dembele fits the bill perfectly. He's one of the top creative wingers in the world. And in terms of his overall creative play, it's outstanding, something Ten Hag requires. And with Sancho and Dembele at the wing, if they're both fully fit, it's an outstanding combination partnership to serve as Ronaldo, of course, if he's there next season. And overall, I think Dembele could be a good signing, and it would be a massive risk if United signed him. It firstly would have to sign him for a substantially lower fee in terms of the wage bill, because United going forward have to sort out the wage bill rightly, and anything under 150,000 per week, 100,000, 120,000 per week is probably a good deal. But knowing his injury record, he's probably going to be injured for the most of next season. Though this season he's been since the start of the year, he's been really good in terms of injury record. Quality player, someone I don't know if United should sign, but he's definitely a good player, and he's a number 5 on my list. Okay, going on number 4 on my list is Anthony, right wing of Ajax. Some of you may be surprised, okay, why is he so low down on the list and things like that. I'll tell you why. So I said that I'm looking at the overall package, and with wingers, probably number 4, number 5, or maybe number 3, probably number 4, number 5 in terms of the priority signings for United. Right winger is the least out of that. Therefore, which will be spending at least not more than 30 million, 35 million, 30 to 35 million. And with Anthony being massive superstar and outstanding, easily the most consistent and best player on this list. He'd probably be, and many suitors around Europe are looking forward and maybe looking forward to signing him. But he wouldn't really be too high on my list purely on the fact that he'd be anywhere between 60 to 80 million, and that's just too much for United to spend on a right winger right now. So for those reasons, he probably be lower down my list. But in terms of the actual player himself, of course, he knows Ten Hag's system quite well. He's worked with Ten Hag extensively for the past 2 years. He's perfect in terms of the type of winger Ten Hag needs in a system. Obviously, being in his system at Ajax, but he likes to hold his weight. He's a really good creator. He's a good finisher, and most importantly, he's very young. He's like 21, 22, and he has huge potential. Maybe someone we could look forward to next year if that's a position we need improving. But this year, I just don't see it happening with the amount of money um, Ajax want for him, and the amount of money we need to be spending elsewhere on the pitch. Okay, coming in number 3, this may be a surprise to most of you all watching, but I'm going for Hakim Ziyech. Now, hold on, I know. But the reason I'm going for Hakim Ziyech is because, one, I think he's played under Ten Hag in his system, and he's performed exceptionally well, being one of the best creators in Europe when he was under Ten Hag. Understandably, it's in the Eredivisie, but he's been exceptional in terms of creativity and his overall game. I mean, most of you are watching probably know the type of player Hakim Ziyech is, but I'd love United for him to sign him for many reasons. One of them being his price tag, given the fact would be anywhere between £30 million to £35 million. United, I'd see Chelsea selling him for that amount. One of many reasons is probably because he hasn't really been hitting the ground running at Chelsea in terms of coming in and being a really good signing and the type of player Chelsea probably bought him for. He was, of course, part of that huge rebuild that Chelsea, or the huge number of players that Chelsea bought last season, or the summer of 2021, and he's been pretty much okay in terms of the his overall gameplay, but the reason I would sign him is because he's already he's not prem proven as such, but he knows the Premier League well. He knows Ten Hag's system well. He knows Ten Hag well, and in terms of his overall creativity, something United lack and something United have failed to do to service Ronaldo, he's right up there. And with 27, 28, 26 around that range, he's going into his prime. 30 million would be a good deal for him, and I feel it would be a good signing. Yes, a little bit of a risk considering he hasn't been too good for Chelsea in the Premier League, but I think it would be an overall pretty good signing if United managed to get him in. In at number 2, now this would be a massive surprise to most of you watching, but I'm actually going for Pedro Neto. Now, some of you may not even know who he is. He's actually a Wolves winger, left-footed winger, of course, like everyone on this list, because United desperately need a left-footer, and he's someone Wolves. He just come. So those of you who don't know who he is, he signed for Wolves roughly 3-4 years back. I think 4 to 5 years back, as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old. He's roughly 22 now, and when he signed his first season, he took a bit of time going, and his second and third season, being 19, 20, and 2021, were exceptional seasons in terms of his own personal growth and his overall gameplay. He's extremely creative, and if I'm not wrong, a season or two, or the season he was fully fit, he was in the top 3, top 5 overall players, all players in the Premier League to create chances. He was only behind, I think, Bruno, De Bruyne, and Trent, which is an exceptional list to be a part of. And as a 21-year-old, he was performing outstandingly well. And the main issue with him is that he's been out injured. I think it was an ACL or a really bad injury for nearly 14 to 16 months, which is a long time to be injured, especially in the sport of football. And that's a big issue when it comes to United. But why I kept him so high on this list is that he's been fairly okay since he's been back from injury, but obviously it's going to take him some time to come back. He's 22 years old, and he'd probably be between the fact that Adama Traore was his release clause or his buy option clause to Barcelona was on 30 million, and he's one of the better players. And Liverpool signed Jota for roughly 40 million, if I'm not wrong. So I think if United paid anywhere between 25 to 30 million pounds, I think Wolves would send him. In terms of his suitability to Ten Hag's system, he would be excellent. I feel a wide player who's very good one-on-one, who's extremely creative, and he's extremely young as well. So he has lots of potential. Yes, he would be a risk, but with Rashford, Sancho, I think he would take some time to settle into the system, just like every other player. And I feel if you give him 4 to 6 months, and if he's injury free for the rest of the year, he'd be an exceptional player going forward. And I think he has massive potential, and especially for that price tag. Now number one, I think most of you all already know who this player is. It's Rafinha. He's an exceptional player for Leeds United, and Leeds scoring lots of goals, conceding lots of goals. Yeah, I know it's an issue, but I'm assuming Leeds United are going to go down. Right now, they're slightly ahead of Burnley, 1 or 2 points ahead, but Burnley do have a game in hand. And assuming Leeds United are going down, his relegation clause is I think 25 million or something, which is amazing. Like he's definitely not worth 25 million. Easily, he's worth 40 to 50 million in this market. And those of you who don't know who he is, he's an exceptionally good player. He made his Brazil debut about 3 to 4 months back, or maybe towards the end of last year. He's really good. He's a fast player. He's a skillful player. He's a creative player. He scores lots of goals, and he fit perfectly for United and Ten Hag because he presses a lot and he can hold his width. He's exceptional 1v1. He's really the perfect player United should be signing. He's around that 24-25 age bracket, and he'd give Rashford, Sancho, anyone else playing the run for their money in terms of starting position. So I'd guarantee that. And he really is the minimal risk in the entire list. And he's probably the best player, and he's easily the best deal United could be doing. The only issue I have with him is that, not with him rather, but with the deal is that Barca would be looking to sign him, provided they get the funds from somewhere, Frankie de Jong. And I think he'd probably go to Barca for 25 million. That's a steal, and of course, if Barca come calling, you're probably gonna go there. And he'd fit perfectly for United, provided Leeds go down. If they stay up somehow, I think that'd be a tough deal for United to get done, because he'd cost 40 to 45 million. I just don't see us spending that type of money. Overall, yeah, I think that's it for the top 5 list. In terms of signing of the right winger, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I think it's really low down in terms of the priority of signing United should be making. And I don't think we'd be signing a right winger, but if you got any of these deals under 30 million, I think it's an exceptional deal to be doing. And if Leeds get relegated, 25 million is bargain for Rafinha. I really do think so. If we sign him for 25 million, of course, at 5 other positions United should be improving. But 25 million for the quality of player Rafinha is, I think it's an exceptional signing, and United should be doing it. Leeds United get relegated. Any of the other deals, do I see United doing it? If any of the other players cost 20 million under, when I mean any other players, Dembele probably will be signing a new deal with Barcelona. I think Barca have done a he rejected Barcelona's first proposal back in January. If I'm not wrong, they have offered another proposal. Maybe Dembele will sign it, maybe he won't. Anthony is just too expensive. He's just too expensive. I see him with the most potential on this list. And Ziyech, I do see signing him. I mean, I don't see us signing him, but he'd be a really good deal and he'd fit Ten Hag's system perfectly. But I don't think Chelsea would be accepting anything under 30 million. Neto is a massive risk. Again, the early Wolves probably want 30 million over because they know the quality of player that Neto is. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon. Peace.